It's about that time of day again here, folks. Welcome back here. Welcome back. Newsletter time. JJ here. SchoolOfTrade.com, SidewaysMarkets.com is our blog address. It is Thursday evening, January 29th, 2015. Got another exciting, jam-packed nightly newsletter for you guys this evening. How about that newsletter from last night, huh? Talk about some awesome selling opportunities. Gold, Russell, crude, all of them giving us those chances last night, or actually this morning, to get short. And then, boy, we got a bunch of them now going higher again. Boy, it's a busy, busy life we have. Never a dull moment as professional traders, I'll tell you that much. All right, so excellent guidance from last night's newsletter. If you didn't watch last night's newsletter, go back and take a look. You'll see we nailed that stuff last night. Very, very good day in the markets today. I hope you guys had a great day as well. We are wrapping up the last few days of the month of January. We got gold that rolled over. Was it a day or two early? I think gold rolled over a day and a half early. And, well, we'll get into it here in a second. Before we jump into our charts here for today, got a great newsletter in store for you guys. A lot to cover. First, I want to remind you guys, make sure you're watching this video on our trading blog. If you're watching the video on our YouTube page right now, great work on that, but make sure you follow the link below the video. There's a description in the YouTube page. Follow that link in the description. It'll take you over here to our blog. 3 reasons why you got to be watching this video on our trading blog right now. The first thing is you can download all of my charts and have those ready for tomorrow. Second thing, grab your free pass. Come out and join me as a guest in my live trade room. I would love to show you how we use these newsletter levels every day in our trade room to make some easy profit. I would also love to show you what it feels like to be in our trade room, what it means to be a student here at School of Trade. Grab your free pass, upper left-hand corner. And of course, last but not least, third thing, we have a nightly newsletter mailing list. If you'd like to be added to our mailing list, all we need is your name and your email address. So 3 things here. 1, you can download all the charts I'm going to talk about tonight by following that link below the video. 2, grab your free pass to come attend my trade room. We'll show you how professionals do it. And of course, number 3, join the nightly newsletter mailing list. Guys, if you join the mailing list or you grab your free pass, don't forget, I'm going to send you a verification email. Make sure you're not a robot. Make sure you have the right email address. And make sure you give me some approval to keep sending you emails every evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Alrighty? Now you know why you're going to be watching over the blog. Let's rock and roll. Last newsletter of January. We'll be back here on Monday. No newsletters on Friday. So last newsletter of January. Boy, what a great first month of 2015 it has been, and we have been on fire over the past 3 weeks. First of all, starting with the gold, don't forget we are trading the 415 contract. This rollover snuck right up on us. Like I said last night of the newsletter, this morning we came in, we checked the volume, we see if the volume is rolled forward to the 415 contract, and it definitely did. So definitely on the 415 contract right now on gold. And as you can see here, this is my 64 anchor. This is about as slow as we're going to take this thing. And it's important that we take a look at this chart for a moment because I want you to see the big picture here. First of all, we get a big, big bull channel. So no real doubt about it. Long term, we are bear. Long term, we're bullish. But medium term channel, right? Medium term channel, we're bullish. But in the short term, you can see, though, just like we've talked about the last few weeks here on gold, we've come off those highs, and we're basically pulling back into what most likely will be somewhere around this 1236.5, 1237 to 1221 area. So we're really expecting it to go up, come back, and then try to make another run for those highs again. So ultimately, and again, the reason why I'm showing you this is because I want you to see the long-term bullish. Even medium term is bullish, but short term, though, we are definitely bearish. And we're going to be looking for some more selling opportunities here in the short term. Remember, we're day traders. This is really kind of a swing trading time frame. So this is just to see the bigger picture levels. Now, here's the way that I interpret this. I drew a midline of this channel right on through the middle there, and you can see how we're kind of stuck on that right now. That's one clue. Another clue, follow me over here, we call this a reversal line, right? What was prior resistance becomes support. And then you'll notice we have another one right here, okay, that hasn't been tested yet. So these two areas, 1254.4 and 1236.5. These two areas are ultimately where we're going to look for buyers to try and fail to get short. Remember, there's two ways to sell. I can sell with lower lows and retracements, right? Wave patterns short, continuation patterns short. But I could also sell when I see the buyers try to buy the BMT, that yellow moving average, buy that reversal line, and if they fail, it's going to tumble basically down to the next reversal line, okay? So we expect price to probably bounce a little bit here, right? There are going to be some rookies and retail traders that don't quite understand this part of the game. But when they sell or when they fail, that's where we're looking for the short. So right now, like it says here in the chart, right, we're bearish as we pull back off these highs. We have support levels waiting for us at 54.4 and 36.5, and that's where we're going to look for the buyers to try to jump in to buy. And when they fail, we should see it roll right over and head on down to that 1237.6 to 1221. We'll look for it again there as well, right? It'll probably bounce up, and if it fails, it'll come back down. Now, where could it go to? If this thing really turns into a bloodbath over the next 48 hours, look at the trend line coming down, right? This was the old triangle that we had a few weeks ago on gold. I know this is a little bit complicated, guys, but bottom line is that is our ultimate target if this really turns into a bloodbath, okay? So again, what's going to happen is pretty much what we saw right here. We expect to see the buyers try. When they fail, we sell it. They'll try. When we fail, we sell it. Try, you got it. When they fail, we sell it. And again, somewhere down around, You think that big round number's a coincidence? I'm going to go with no on that one, Joe. Yeah, I don't think that's a coincidence. So 1,200, kind of a long-term target right now. And again, bam, bam, boing, right, all the way down. That's the scenario that we're looking to capitalize on right now on gold. Now, you might get a couple little buying opportunities here as we pull back, right? Because remember, the long-term trend is still bullish. What we're looking for is we're looking for those bulls to try and fail. A little bit more advanced way of trading this stuff, right? You really got to be tuned in on this. Come out and join me tomorrow in the trade room, and I'll walk you right through it. Now, here is a very, very important chart. And this chart really tells us a lot about what to expect on gold right now. There's a bear channel that's come off these highs, right? There's no question at all. Remember, we talked about this a couple days ago, right? We were ready to sell that sucker. We had a great short off that resistance area here on gold. So no surprise that we took off to the downside, right? Last night's newsletter, I said be looking for those shorts, and that's exactly what happened today. This is just one of the three markets that we really nailed right to the wall last night in last night's newsletter. So we nailed the direction, nailed the entries on it. Now we have an overshoot. This is a really big clue. Now, an overshoot is a classic case of an irrational market. Okay, an overshoot is usually, most often, followed by a larger correction than we would normally get. So this overshoot basically tells me the sellers got a little bit drunk on the Kool-Aid today, got a little bit carried away. You can see they bounced off that channel low, but it didn't look like there was much they could do, right? Come off. Breakout retrace, one of our 5 breakout patterns we teach here at School of Trade. Really great chart. Bottom line, though, is, guys, we've been overshoot on this channel. This would tell me that you're probably going to have a little bit of buying opportunities here. But be careful, though, because we're definitely still on the way back lower here. So 4 different sell zones, depending on how high we get. Okay, so of course going up, looking to sell, and we've got targets waiting for us below. This is just too tasty right here. This is just a delicious little trading range right here, right? You can't really mess with that. Remember, these obvious trading ranges are price magnets. Okay, that's why this trading range that we marked up in last night's newsletter, that range, that's why that range was so easy to sell as it broke. And if you recall, that's exactly what we recommended from last night. So we're still trying to stay short here, but again, don't be surprised. You're probably going to get some buying opportunities on the way up in the short term, and then be ready to sell it right back down. Okay, looking good. Right on schedule here for the gold. We've really done a good job of the past few weeks on gold. Here is a very, very important chart here. You can see, here's our 16 on the gold. Gold is bearish, but stay patient. Wait for the correction off these fresh lows and keep selling at resistance. We've got volume analysis down at the bottom. You can see as we're going lower, that volume keeps going higher. That definitely tells us we have confirmed the move lower, at least in today's session. So we do expect to get a correction, but we will continue with this sentiment to the downside. I've got plenty of sell areas. These bigger boxes up top here, those are from the longer term time frame we just saw. So really, you've got some easy selling opportunities here. You've got a trend line coming down off the highs. So pick your poison. You've got your levels waiting for you guys overhead. All we got to do is get up, wait for the pattern, wait for the trigger, and take it back down. And again, you've got targets in green below you, and use that previous chart that I gave you for much better long-term targets. Here's another really valuable chart. I know I said we got a lot to cover here today. This is our price action chart of gold. If you recall, we were up here last night for last night's newsletter, and my exact words were, expect it to go lower, and that's exactly what happened. Like I said, we've done a great job here in the month of January 2015. Gold price action is, just a little bearish. We see a strong bear channel that now just recently has broken. Now, I always love to use consolidation ranges. You can see this easy to see consolidation range. These are easy spots here to sell, 1280.2 and 1267.6. So definitely on the lookout here, guys, for a push higher here. And this just goes right hand in hand with everything we've said so far, right? So on that first chart we looked at, we were at major support, and we said wait for the buyers to try, but when they fail, sell it. And so you've got a great spot at these levels overhead to be getting short. All we got to do now is get up to those areas, test those areas, look for the pattern, and then get the proper trigger. Protect that capital with a stop loss. Don't risk more than 5% of your account in a given trade. And don't forget, you do not need to trade gold on your own, guys. Come out and see me tomorrow in the trade room. We'll walk you right through it. Let's keep moving from that funny yellow metal over here now to the mighty mini Russell. The Russell is bullish in the short term. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm thinking about calling their bluff right now. I don't like to predict, but this is one of those examples where we got the short, right? Remember we talked about this last night. The goal was to sell short last night, and that's exactly what we got today. But then late in the day, you'll see, right? We got a little token print down here. They barely pushed that low, and then whoops-a-daisy, right back up they go. Now, this is when I remind us that anyone can put together a one-day rally, right? This is when I remind us, be very suspicious of this right here. If I had a crystal ball right now, my crystal ball stopped working a few years ago, but if I had a crystal ball, I would probably see this trading range. That's the giveaway. For whatever reason, it looks like these buyers got a little bit of ants in their pants here. I would expect us to go up and then straight back down. Now, the only hope for these buyers is that something else comes out between now and tomorrow at 9:30 that would cause my crystal ball to lose a little bit of accuracy, right? So maybe we go up, pull back, but then we get some third-party news, some change in market sentiment, right? And then we just launch as we go. But again, my gut tells me right now, this consolidation, we jump out. Usually when we consolidate like that narrow range like that, usually when we get a straight line up like this, it's usually not going to last. So we'll definitely be looking for, and again, if I had to guess, I would say this 1200 big round number, right? We may see some flirtation with the 1200 overnight. And then again, look for those buyers to try. And then when they fail, bottom line, the minute we get a whiff of those buyers failing, we will be getting short here with our target back at this trading range, right? So target's at 77.1, 67.2, and if we really get a little humdinger, we get the 1156.4 all the way down. I don't think you get to 56.4 tomorrow. I would assume, though, this range right here, again, up, stall out, fail, and right back into that range where we came from. So buyers will most likely run this higher, possibly test all the way to the highs of the range, and then we'll look for the buyers to fail at these highs and sell it short back to the magnet down there at 1177.1. Now, you might be saying, okay, Joe, well, that's the long-term outlook. What about the short-term, right? According to you, we're probably going to run this sucker up to those highs. How do we trade that? Well, that's a good question. Here we go. Russell is very bullish in the short term. We don't see the buyers holding this price up without a correction. The question is, will the correction lead to a full-blown reversal, right? That's the question we have right now. So what I see is, there's that trading range once again, right? Same thing from the last chart. There's that trading range. We get a big, strong channel. And so this big, strong move here, right? A, B, C, D. So, we're looking somewhere in this area here, 95.5, 1200, wink, wink, nod, nod, big round number. Don't say I didn't warn you, right? So A to B, C to D. So I would expect somewhere in this area between 1200 and 1195. That would be where I would expect us to start seeing those buyers fail. Okay? So when we get up there, we look for those buyers to keep going, lower high, break of that low, and we're right back to these green boxes listed below as targets. And again, don't forget, the real trading magnet down there in that trading range, right? The real price magnet down in that trading range. Now, here's the one thing that I'm mentioning here, right? Will a pullback lead to a full-blown reversal? So, these big moves like this, they can't keep going on forever. They can't, right? Nobody can keep running up like this forever, unless you're crude oil, of course, in December. But very unlikely in the big picture. So my question is when we, not if we, but when we pull back, because it's very unlikely unless we continue this irrational move higher, right? We may just continue to be irrational here and just keep pushing higher on low volume. But, what's likely to happen is we get a pullback. So you are going to get most likely a pullback into something like an 85.2, 83.6. But watch carefully, though. If it goes higher here overnight, we're definitely looking for a sell tomorrow morning. But if it doesn't go higher, if it pulls back, then be aware you're going to slip back below this range high, 88.8. Okay, so don't forget, that will turn back into resistance. We slip back below. We look for the buyers to step in. But again, this is another example. If we pull back, try to go higher and fail, again, we're suspicious of these buyers right now. I'm suspicious. And a pullback is not a reversal. But a pullback here is definitely going to be a pretty darn important clue, because if they can't keep the price going back to that high again, we will be seeing this price come tumbling back down. We'll be right where we started from today, okay, this time tomorrow. All right, guys, so suspicious here on the Russell. If we go up here overnight, be ready for a sell tomorrow. If we pull back overnight, be ready for a short-term buy tomorrow, and then most likely a failure of those buyers and a return back down. Keep an eye on that big round number of 1,200, because that's where, if we do have the strength of the buyers, that's where we're going right now. And this chart, in my opinion, really is the most important chart of the session. We keep talking about this idea that, well, I keep saying I'm suspicious of these buyers. I keep saying I'm about to call the bluff of these buyers right now. We don't have much volume confirming us right now. That's the one thing we didn't have today. Didn't have any good volume clues here because we're not really making new highs range bound wise. But here's what I see on this chart. There's my range again. Okay, this is that range we've been talking about. This is a price action chart, so no indicators, just a bunch of candlesticks, variable open, high, close. So there's your range. We get a spike and then a Chanel, right? A little spike and channel. Now, what do we know about a spike and channel? Spike and channels are very fragile. They're very fragile price structures, price patterns. They're very fragile. And you're going to get some opportunities to buy the lows in these channels. But what happens is if we see this price come back, try to go higher and fail, basically what happens is the minute that these lows of the channel, the minute that we break these lows, and when I say break, I don't mean a low below it. When I say break, I mean a test of the low, a try to go higher, and then we break, right? Remember, don't trust the first break of that channel low. So watch it go lower, come up, and then whoops-a-daisy, it comes all the way crashing back down. Guys, this is a very big clue, this spike in channel, because if this spike in channel fails, we usually go all the way back to where that spike started. Okay, so just be aware, you're probably going to see that all the way back here to that low if this spike fails. Now again, we don't underestimate the power of an irrational Russell. It does this sometimes, where it may just continue going. 1193.7, 1199 even. So really, right now, it's difficult for me to say be a buyer right now in this Russell. It really is. It's a lot easier for me to say, let these buyers do what they want to do. If they run it straight up, look for the reversal off these highs. But again, remember, the easy reversal is going to come when the buyers keep trying and whoops, they fail, right? Once those buyers try and fail, then we got them. Keep an eye on that 1200. It would be easy to see us go back up and retest those highs overnight, tomorrow morning, the pre-market, and then make the move back down. The bottom line is we are suspicious of these buyers right now, and you've got excellent targets waiting for you on the way back down. I really probably should have put another line right in there too. That's another level right there that you want to be aware of. Okay, guys? And so draw a little trend line off that. So right there, let's say 1172 or so, that'll be another easy target for you sellers. Okay? A little bit difficult, this Russell right now. We don't quite know how far they're going to push this sucker higher, but we'll be waiting for it to sell it short. Last but not least here on the black gold, crude oil futures. Still trading the 315 contract here on crude. That won't roll over until next month on the 18th. So we got a long time here. Got about a month to go here on the 315 contract on crude. Crude oil is clearly bearish. This is my 64 anchor chart. And the reason why I have this anchor chart out here for you is so you can see A, B, C, D. You'll see we've got 41, $40 a barrel, 37.76. We got some pretty nasty targets waiting for us to the downside. But boy, oh boy, have we had a hard time getting out of this range. Here's a classic example, just being stingy here, trying to get out of this range, and it looks like now they've managed to squeeze us back into that range above 44.63. So I would expect short-term push higher before rolling over, right, and getting short again. So long-term sellers, 46.44, 49.06, 51.61. Those are going to be where you want to be keeping your eyes peeled here right now to get short. Okay, so if you're a bear like I am on crude oil right now, be patient because it looks like we may have that correction. We called the great short on this, but later in the day, we did get that reversal off those lows in a big profit-taking session we can assume this afternoon. Here's another chart. I think this chart really underlines the patience we need right now. Stay patient. we keep finding some very good success, but we have to wait for it to go up and hit that high again. We've had a really good down week. It's been kind of grinding lower here. We're due for a trending day. It's been a lot of range bound, bearish, but range bound trading on crude, which is great, but we're just at this point, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, tomorrow we're due for a nice trending day. Now that trending day may be an uptrend. Like I said, in that last chart, the 64, we snuck right back into that range again, right? So now we snuck right back into that range again. I don't want to sound like a gambler, right? Because the gambler's fallacy says, this can't keep going lower forever, can it? Oh, yes, it can. Not until it sees zeros, right? That's when it has to stop. And I'll bet it can even go lower than that, right? So there's no reason why it has to be a trending day tomorrow. But boy, if the past predicts the future, we are due for a big range day here at some point in the next 2-3 days here. We're due for it. So looking for a big move tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get it. And again, my gut tells me right now we go higher. But short term, you're a buyer here. Long term, though, the smart money is still selling, right? So I'm not going to trade my gut. I'm going to trade what I see on this chart. And what I see on this chart right now is sell zones overhead. And that's where I'm going to be focusing my attention, right? That's where I'll allocate my capital. So we're probably going to see a push higher just so we can get into position here and get that trade short. If we go up from here, we're about 44 half. So $3-4 up, that puts us to 47 half right up here. We might get a $3 move all the way up and then back down. So keep that in mind, right? $2 to $3 moves have been very common on crude the past few months. So don't underestimate that. Don't force it. Remember, we're not just hitting the sell button up here. We're going to wait for it to go up. Okay, if it blows through this first one, so be it. We never know which one's going to hold. So once we see it get up there, we wait for the reversal, the proper entry trigger, and we'll take it back down. Now, where could you be looking for buying opportunities right now? Are there any buying opportunities here on crude oil? And the answer is not really. Not really. I really have a hard time finding a buying opportunity right now on crude. And you can see as we look at this chart, crude oil is bearish in the long term, and price has retraced off these lows from earlier today. We had the move all the way down right about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock today. Then we saw it go up. Now measured move up, and that puts us right about A to B, C to D. That's why I have this kind of circled here. There's a lot of stuff up here. There's a lot of resistance up here. So if we get up to this 45.05 to 45.46, I will not be surprised at all. But the problem is trying to get long to go up to that level is going to be a challenge because you're going to have to deal with this 44.89 to 44.64, 44.88. You can deal with the BMT. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a little bit easier to sit back, relax, let the buyers bang their head against this wall, run it up to that resistance area, and then with all of your risk capital intact, you can then allocate that risk capital and sell it back down again. Okay, so stay to the short side, but again, if you want to get long here, you will probably see a little buying opportunity there as you push higher. And here is the proof that we're probably going to push higher before we go lower. Now, here's my price action chart. I'm a very big believer there is a lot of wisdom hidden inside these candlesticks. I teach all of our students every day live in real time how to read candlesticks, how to read price action, because in all reality, this is really all you need. You don't need a bunch of fancy indicators. All you need is knowledge of how this market works. And what we call it is, we call it the DNA of price action. Price always moves in a certain way. And the reason why that is, and we talk about this in my free trial, I go over why this stuff works so well in my free trial, so make sure you check that out. But the reason why it works so well is because we understand that there is a hardwiring of a group of people, right? What is the markets? The financial markets are nothing more than a big group of people. And individuals are somewhat unpredictable. Well, not somewhat, very unpredictable. But a group of individuals become very predictable, right? Take the election process. Take Black Friday at Walmart, right? Go to a crowded movie theater and yell the word fire, right? You see predictable people in groups, right? That crowd psychology is very predictable. So when you use candlesticks like this, you don't need a lot of complicated indicators. You just have to understand that these markets, whether you're trading crude, Russell, gold, Euro, Dow, NASDAQ, S&P, it doesn't matter. Every market is the same. People. And people are very predictable when they put them in groups. We talk about this all over the place in our trials, so come out to the trial. Or come out and see us tomorrow in the trade room, and I'll walk you right through it in real time. So crude oil price action is bullish, right? We can see on this chart, we're bullish. We have a major bull channel, and because the markets have fractal tendencies to them, we also have a minor channel, right? Major channels, minor channels. That's why it's easy for us to apply the same strategies to a daily chart, just like we can apply the same strategies to a tick chart or a scalping time frame chart, okay? So the fractal tendencies of the market means I can use the same knowledge of how the markets work to be a swing trader, a day trader, or even a super scalper, okay? So look closely here, and you can see the major bull channel. Okay, so that will continue to have us wanting to buy the lows, right? Buy the lows of this major bull channel. You can see opportunities are to buy that 44, 46. But the real clue right now is this minor channel. The minor channel gives us a broken channel. You'll notice we run it up, we break, and then the buyers were strong enough to make a push higher. Now that push higher is a very, very strong bullish clue. Remember, guys, anybody can put together a one-day rally. But on the pullback, can they hold and retest highs? Remember, that's the biggest, most important thing we talk about here at School of Trade. Anybody can put together a one-day rally, but can you hold on the pullback? Those buyers just held on that pullback. So I would expect here A, B, C, D, right? You know, measured move. I would expect somewhere around this 45.09, 44.90, possibly, very unlikely, but possibly all the way up to that 45.67. I don't think that will be the case, but I'm definitely keeping an eye on this area up here, 44.90. So again, going right hand in hand with everything else we've talked about here on crude oil, it does look like we're going to make a push higher. I think the easy money on this is going to be to let the buyers do their thing, then wait for the buyers to try, and when they fail, you got it, right back to that very obvious trading range that we found earlier today. Okay, makes sense, guys? All right, so now we know the plan. Short-term buys on crude, long-term sells on crude, looking for failed buyers on both the Russell and gold. We have a busy Friday to tackle tomorrow. I want to remind you guys, we do not do this newsletter on Friday afternoons. You guys have a great Super Bowl weekend. Before you guys go, be sure to download today's charts, grab your free pass, and don't forget to join our nightly newsletter mailing list. And I've been talking about that trial the whole time, right? Been talking about that free trial. Yep, we get the best free trial on the planet. I'll put my money where my mouth is, and I'll prove it to you. Don't take my word for it. Register for the trial. You'll see exactly what all the commotion's about. While you're here on the website, join the trial, learn more about our 3 levels of membership, and at any time you need help, we're here standing by 24/7, 365. Guys and gals, Super Bowl weekend around the corner. Who you got? Who you got? You better be rooting for the Patriots. We got a big game on Sunday. We got a big game. We got the defending champion Seahawks, and then of course we got Tom Brady and the Patriots trying to shrug off this little deflate scenario shenanigans. And we haven't had very much success in the Super Bowl the past few years. So I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little bit nervous ahead of this game. And remember, the Monday following Super Bowl, is right up there with the day after Halloween as being one of the biggest wastes of time, right? Because everybody's calling in sick on Monday after Halloween, right? Same thing happens the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday. So expect to see some slop and chop early on Monday. Okay, but it should come back though once everybody kind of, shakes off the cobwebs and burns off all those extra chips and nachos they wolfed down over the weekend. All right, guys, be safe out there. If you're traveling, be very safe. Hopefully it stops snowing out there in the Northeast here soon for you guys. My name is Joseph. Thank you so much for being here this week. Great job in the trade room this week. We had one of the best weeks of the year this week in the trade room. And we will see y'all on Monday, February 2nd. Can't wait. Can't wait. We're getting closer to turning those clocks, pushing those clocks forward again. It's going to start getting lighter out at night. And we'll see you guys on Monday. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.